Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed we are.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into a neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
We are currently at 1.7k subscribers. We are shooting for 2k subscribers by the end of this year. Originally, we had tried to push for 4K, but we're probably not going to make it there, which is fine. We'll get there eventually.
Yes, we will.
But if you have not subscribed already, please make sure to do so.
With notifications on. Oh, and also make sure to join the channel, if you wish, at the dusk, midnight, or dawn level.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. It does help us out. So we got a couple topics to cover today. So without further ado,
let us bring in our first client, starting with the Rings of Power.
La 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 la, racist, sexist, misogynistic bigot, we can't hear you, la 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 la.
Yeah, that's accurate.
A new report claims that Amazon Studios and Prime Video will declare their upcoming series, The Lord of the Rings of Power, a victory regardless of actual viewership.
Meaning they have no hope for this show.
Doesn't matter if nobody watches it, because, again, no one who is an actual fan of the books or the movies will like this.
Nope.
We all know that.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that Amazon also knows it.
Or at least they're starting to realize it, finally.
No, they've known it all along. But they are pushing it so hard, and all the reviews have come out, have all been positive, stunning, it's amazing, it's pretty.
Shill.
It's just, look, if you came out and said, yes, we didn't do the source material, but give it a try and let us know, it might actually be pretty good, and if we get feedback and we determine that you guys don't like it, we will change it for the next season.
That is what you would expect. But no, they're not going to do that because that would mean admitting they were wrong.
It would also mean having to say, we failed with our diversity and inclusion, and they can't do that.
Of course not, because that breaks the narrative.
When you push a narrative like this before the story, it becomes a huge problem. And that is why this is a problem. There was so many different ways you could have incorporated diversity and inclusion into this show without making it the way that it is.
Yeah, but of course you couldn't do that because reasons.
Yeah, so basically get ready for a very bad show. And keep in mind that they're going to pull out all the cards, you're racist, sexist, misogynist, and they're going to claim it does well regardless of if it actually does. Now, my wife and I will not be watching The Rings of Power.
We will not.
We will be listening to what we hear, and we will be reporting on that, but we will not be watching it. If you watch it, we have no problem with that. You're welcome to do so. If you like it, cool.
We just have no interest.
But as a fan, you have to admit that this is not going to be accurate to the lore, and they are doing their marketing and everything completely wrong, and they really should just stop talking.
They should.
But they can't, because they need this to be successful.
It might be if they would stop talking.
They know it's not going to be. That's the problem. They know it's not going to be successful, so they decided that regardless of whether it is, they're actually going to make it that way.
That's not how it works, but okay.
They can try, but in reality, we all know the truth, and this show should be cast into the fires of Mount Doom.
Indeed. Moving on. Next up, we have Hogwarts Legacy.
Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment have given players a new look at their upcoming Hogwarts Legacy, recently showing off the game's Slytherin companion and players' ability to learn at least one of the 3 unforgivable curses, the Cruciatus Curse.
Now, I'm the one who's really more looking forward to this game, being a huge Harry Potter fan myself. Slytherin, Thestral Patronus, Pearwood wand with a dragon heartstring core, 12.5 inches, swingy, swishy, and flexible.
And here I am I've read all the Harry Potter books, I've seen the movies. I'm done. I've been done for a while. It's not that I don't like it, it's just okay, make another book, I'll read it. It's weird because it's not apathetic, I just don't care. It was a good story, I enjoyed it, it had a satisfying ending, either continue it somehow, or move on. So I'm not going to say this isn't going to be a bad game, but if you're asking me what house I'm in, I don't care. Never did the test. Don't have a wand. Don't have a Patronus. Don't care.
Yeah, the last time you took a random test, it said you were a squib.
That was not even a test. That was with friends.
That was just a friend party. That's
Long
true.
story.
That was a party.
But my wife wanted to talk about this specifically, so we're going to cover it. And again, I know people are going to bug me after this. Master, you need to take your test. No.
Don't even try.
Let's be fair. I'm powerful enough as it is with my logic alone. Do you really want to give me magic?
Yeah, seriously. Think about that and then think if you want to make him take a test.
Yeah. No thanks.
Anyway, so the new trailer for the game came out showing how players can choose either to be in the light side or the dark side of magic. Basically, this whole deluxe pack also gives you bonuses if you do decide to go dark, a Thestral mount, my Patronus, Dark Arts cosmetic set, which as you can see is a skull robe and mask, which I want. I want that robe, I want it so badly!
Calm down.
You can get a Dark Arts Battle Arena, though I have no idea what that means, but it sounds awesome. Onyx Hippogriff mount really just means you get a pure black-colored hippogriff for a mount, which sounds awesome. And 72 hours of early access to the game, which I'm guessing is like probably part of the beta test?
I don't know. Early access, again, normally means that, and I've been part of many early accesses, so it usually means that they're going to release it not completely finished. And people are going to like test it and kind of give bug reports and stuff like that. I've participated in quite a number.
Yeah.
But I don't really have much to say on this. It looks cool. I know that people are angry about this game because of J.K. Rowling, which we're not going to go into.
No, I don't care about that. I just care about a good Hogwarts game. And this apparently is going to be a prequel to the entire series taking place in the 1800s.
It looks cool, but I'm not going to play it because again, it's the weirdest thing. With other properties like Star Wars or Doctor Who, I've become apathetic to it. This, it was never that I was just not interested.
I was, still am.
I read the books, I watched the movies, I liked it, I didn't have a problem with it, I thought it was cool, but that was kind of where my interest ended.
And that's fine for you, but for me, I really want this game if I can afford it. And if my computer can handle it.
Yeah.
I want it! I'm not gonna get the deluxe version though. The only deluxe version I have ever gotten was Darksiders 3, worth every penny.
Tell you what, I'll get it for you if you put your cauldron in storage.
Really? How did I know you were going to say that?
Moving on!
Anyway, yes, we're moving on. And next up, we have Wednesday Addams.
Wednesday is technically a Latina character, and that's never been represented. So for me, anytime that I've had an opportunity to represent my community, I want that to be seen.
She's not!
She sees things very black and white, mainly black.
That's what Tim Burton said.
So, look, we're probably going to end up reviewing this. And as you guys know, my wife is a very big fan of the Addams Family, and I would call myself a decent fan, I guess. Mm-hmm. Not a super fan like you.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to end up reviewing this, which should be cool because she knows a lot more than I do, and I know a limited amount, so it should be interesting to hear our different perspectives going into this show. Mm-hmm. However, we've heard some things about the show, like, for example, that Tim Burton's only directing the first 4 episodes, and they've done a bunch of things which make it very confusing and cringy. We watched a trailer where she's, like, saying things to people, like, about, I think of 3 different emojis that come up when I think of you. And it's like, are you serious?
Wednesday would not say that. She would just say, I think of all the different ways I can kill you and get away with it when I look at you. Something like that. That's more Wednesday.
But they're, like, trying to make her, like, a Gen Z, and it doesn't work. And also, they're trying to, like, virtue signal out of the gate. And she's like, oh, it's a Latina. First off, no.
Just because the dad's name is Gomez does not automatically make him Latino.
It does actually make him, I've been heard from many people, it makes him Spanish, which would mean that she was not Latino, or Latina, if you want to call it that way. But regardless, let's say she was. The problem with this is literally coming out and saying it. When any TV show or movie have had someone come out and go, "Attention, this character's this, and identifies as this. Attention, attention," it never has done well.
Not to mention there are rainbows in her dorm room.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have very little hope for this show.
I've lost any hope I had left.
We'll still review it because you guys will want to hear what we have to say.
And because people have more or less been begging us to.
We will give it a try, we will look it over, and we will give our honest opinion. We will probably live stream it.
Yeah, that's likely.
After we watch an episode, we'll see. But yeah, so we're gonna still review this, but I don't really have any hopes of it being good. There's a number of problems with it already. If it's good, we will say so. And if you enjoy it when you watch it and you disagree with us, you're more than welcome to.
But keep in mind, I've lost any hope I had left.
Yeah, I didn't have hope to begin with, because I know that when I have hope, it's usually destroyed, so.
I didn't have much hope. I came into this with low expectations. And any hope I had left is shattered.
The problem is you came in with low expectations. You should have come in with no expectations.
Yes, that is the problem, but I wanted to give it a chance.
And look where we got us.
Darn you, Netflix!
Anyways, we'll still give it a chance, and we'll give you our honest reviews of it. But for now, don't really have much hope for it. We'll keep reporting on it as more news comes out.
Indeed. Moving on. Next up, we have Warner Brothers.
Zaslav says, "You gotta go." The canceled DC film is getting funeral screenings before footage is put under lock and key.
I want to laugh much harder, but we have neighbors.
Funeral screening? Really?
You can't be serious. Are they serious?
It's a movie. There are plenty of movies that don't get made. Yes, I understand this one was almost finished, but come on. Plenty of movies don't make it. Just because this one happened to have a Latina Batgirl and a transgender friend, nobody cared.
Really, no one. No one even asked for this movie.
David Zaslav took a look at this movie and said, "It's trash. Get rid of it." And people are throwing fits about it, and if I was him, I would just delete it.
Which actually happened. Apparently they tried to leak the film and it was completely scrubbed from the server.
Yes, but they also, they're doing screenings of it, but I think other than that, they're planning to destroy it, which I think would be great. They should destroy it completely. And the reason is not because I understand that there are certain, actors and actresses who've put their heart into this, and I definitely feel bad for them. But if the movie's not good, it should not be put out because. It should be thrown away. Guess what? There is such a thing as a bad movie.
There is. And what Zaslav is mainly doing is looking at all these things that the company has produced and said, hey, this hasn't been making us money. I need this company to make money. We're putting this back on track. Anything that doesn't make money is going.
Yes, he's been cutting everything, trying to pinch pennies because, again, apparently they only have enough money to put out 2 movies this year.
And not even enough money to market said movies.
They might have enough money to market it. I don't know about that.
Well, at least for the trailers that they've already made.
Regardless, they're tossing out things that aren't good, aren't being watched, aren't getting money, and I know that there are some things that are being taken off that people do like, and I understand that, like Infinity Train is one, we've heard about that, but this film was not good. Point blank. If it was that close to being done, it wouldn't have cost him too much to get it out there. But evidently, it wasn't good, and he decided it needed to go. Don't cry about it, it's not coming back.
It's a business decision. He is a businessman through and through.
No, he should release it, and then they should go bankrupt, and then you'll have no job. Didn't think about that, did ya?
I think he should just fire all the people that are complaining.
Hence the reason they're in the trash.
True. And speaking of Warner Brothers, we have Ezra Miller in our waiting room again.
No, you may not have some more. This isn't a Wendy's. The meeting on Burbank lot between the actor, their agent, and Warner Brothers' Michael D. Luca and Pamela Abdi sought to quell concerns over the star's arrests and controversies.
Just fire him, then you settle everything.
they won't do that because apparently the film is actually tracking quite well. It's apparently scoring very well. It might be a good movie.
Maybe, but because it has Ezra Miller, a lot of people are not going to see it.
That's true, but I don't think Ezra Miller should not be getting any penalties for his behavior, which he definitely needs to get. But what annoyed me was he came out and said something and he didn't need to. What he said was that he wasn't worried about the headlines about him. He was more worried that he might end up losing his film.
That sounds horrible.
Ezra, you committed multiple crimes.
Short of, the worst kind.
You are literally a felon.
Seriously, just turn yourself in at this point.
You don't get to just magically walk away because you use they, them pronouns.
Yeah, that's really not how it's supposed to work.
Congratulations. We see through what you're doing. You're not whatever it is you identify yourself as, because everybody knows that you're not. You've only been around women. You've done all this terrible behavior. And look, I don't think that Warner Brothers should have to take the fall on this one. But I do believe that coming out and saying, I'm getting help and I didn't care about the headlines. Yeah, no. How about you come out, own up to your behavior publicly, and say that afterwards you are going to pay or go to prison or do whatever it needs to do. And guess what? A lot of people would start to respect you just a little bit more if you actually took responsibility for your behavior, which you aren't.
Yeah, I still think he belongs in a straitjacket and a padded cell, preferably with a muzzle.
Whatever it is, he should not be on the street. He should not be getting a film this big. And I understand it's tracking well, and Warner Brothers needs to make money, especially given everything going on. So I understand why they would try to fast track it and why they're trying damage control.
But he's not good for the box office numbers.
Not even that. They should literally have him come out publicly and apologize for his behavior. Not some spokesperson, him. Get him out there, go through each of the things that have come up, have him apologize or try to explain them, and then say afterwards he'll be donating this amount of money, or I'll be doing this, or he'll be doing that, to make it somewhat better.
As long as he actually donates and not just pledges.
Yeah. But this is ridiculous. Just because he has different pronouns and doesn't have a normal gender identity doesn't magically mean that he gets to magically disappear from any controversy and not have any repercussions for his behavior. Ezra Miller deserves some consequence for his behavior.
Preferably prison.
Especially if the only thing he cares about is when his movie's going to be taken away. You know what? He should be paid less for it.
Ooh, or not paid at all.
Yeah, I would think so, but that won't happen because reasons and contracts. But regardless, I don't think this will be the last we hear of Ezra. We'll cover more about him if stuff comes up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we may.
Don't care.
Yeah, you mostly just don't want to have to look for more images of him to put in the waiting room.
Yeah, no thanks. Can we move on now?
Yes. Next up, we have Ironheart.
New figures for Black Panther Wakanda Forever provide a first look at what is presumably the final version of Riri Williams / Ironheart's armor.
And it looks terrible.
It looks like a Power Ranger is what it looks like. You can see it on the right of the image. That is actually her armor.
Like I said, it looks horrible.
I don't even know what to say. This character is terrible. It is a terrible character. I don't care how they change her. It is a stupid character. She will never take the place of Iron Man. And her armor looks like cheap plastic garbage.
It really does.
And not the kind of garbage you want to recycle either.
No.
There's nothing to recycle from this character. You should have just either not killed Tony Stark, or you should have used an opportunity where you could have brought Kang in earlier and used him to get an alternate version of Tony Stark from a different timeline, which is something they did in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have used that.
They could have, but of course they're not going to do that because they have to push the women.
Or you could have used War Machine or someone else, or maybe Iron Man and Pepper's daughter in the movies, But instead, you have to bring this character in who's the bestest ever and steals Tony's stuff, reverse engineers it, makes herself an armor, and then Tony lets her keep it because reasons.
Apparently, the daughter is going to be in Armor Wars.
This character is a thief. Point blank. She is not a replacement Tony Stark. She is a garbage character.
And a criminal.
Most people, I will say, you're allowed to like the character. You can still like it. I will never take you seriously if you tell me this character is one of your favorites, because she is a garbage character. Garbage tier, garbage character. Iron Man replacement? More like Iron Garbage Can replacement.
Don't assault garbage cans.
No, she holds waste, which is exactly what it is. That's what her suit is. It holds waste, which is her character.
Oh, good point.
Yes, a waste of not only space, but a waste of a good concept. You could have done this correctly. You had to make her a victim. And I don't know how you're going to change her in the movies, but she's still going to be a trash character.
You could have just given Tony an actual protege. That would have made a lot more sense.
But that would have been getting power from a white man, and she can't do that.
But she literally does that anyway!
But you see, just like with SheHulk, it's the same thing. She did get it from a white man, but it was only a couple drops and stuff.
She stole his armor instead of the possibility of actually learning from him.
Yeah, that's true. But regardless, it's this whole new concept that you can't get power from a man. And so I guarantee she's going to make it herself. It doesn't change the fact that her character is a pile of trash.
True. Moving on?
Speaking of more MCU trash...
Next up, we have SheHulk.
Won't someone please think of the woman's? In the mind of progressive ideologues, no one is allowed to have an opinion that the first episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law was woke and derivative garbage.
Except it was.
And, as you can see here, Mark Ruffalo posts, the rise in bad faith IMDb reviews, particularly for projects led by women and or BIPOC, threatens to render the site's scores meaningless if the problem is not addressed.
BIPOC sounds like an alien species.
Regardless, here is the thing. They claim whenever something gets a lot of one-star reviews that it's being review bombed. And maybe they have something there. People do go on it. But here's the thing. First off, you have no idea and no way of knowing if perhaps they're a bunch of bots. You don't know. Second, there are plenty of people who will review bomb things positively in response to other things, or when places tell them it's being review bombed without actually verifying it, and they just go in and give it 10 out of 10.
But they never acknowledge that because reasons.
And there are plenty of films and movies that have been review bombed that the mainstream media doesn't cover because it's not the thing they want to push.
True.
Here's what you're really mad at. You want to know what you guys are really mad at? You are upset that IMDb allows people to post reviews of any description before the movie or show is out. Fair, but then the problem is IMDb, not review bombing!
Yeah, just take it up with IMDb instead.
How about the Terminal List that was bombed by critics before anybody had a chance to see it?
And then it turned out to be great, according to audiences.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's not review bombing. It's only review bombing when it's something that they want us to like, and if we don't like it, they scream and yell and cry misogyny and all this kind of stuff. And guess what?
What?
Not only is this a brain-dead take, but it's coming from one of the most brain-dead celebrities, Mark Ruffalo. You know what? They casted Hulk very well. Not smart Hulk, mind you, but regular Hulk, because all he does is scream and smash stuff. That's literally Mark Ruffalo on Twitter.
Wow. You're not wrong.
Except the smart part? Not you, but...
Yeah, not at all. A degree in acting does not mean a degree in science.
And you can't even do that very well.
That's also true.
I like the Hulk. I liked his portrayal of the Hulk, actually. But this is ridiculous. It is not a conspiracy. There are plenty of movies and TV shows that get review bombed that are not only women and BIPOC. And the fact that this is a constant go-to every time a movie doesn't do well might want to tell us something. Maybe instead of blaming it on everybody else, maybe for once recognize There is such a concept as a bad movie, and it can be things that you want us to like, and if you don't like that, then cry.
Much harder.
Cry more. And if you're a woman, you can cry, and you're supposed to be taken more seriously because you're a woman and you've gone through stuff. I don't care. Take your show, take your garbage show, and shove it way up your butt.
Yeah, that would be preferable to all of this.
Maybe that will help you, Mark, because you seem to have definitely something else up there. Maybe this will knock it out.
Ooh, ouch.
Or it will even knock some sense into you, which I guarantee you didn't have to begin with, but whatever. I don't care. This is a ridiculous concept of review bombing. It doesn't exist. Are there people out there who will go and bomb a show? Yes. Is it review bombing? No. Sometimes they do it because a show is just crap. And yes, sometimes it's done before the show comes out, but marketing plays a factor. If you tell your fans that we're not going to make what you want, and people are upset about it, and your response is, it's not even out yet, that's a stupid argument. You know it, we know it, and nobody is buying it. Just like no one will be buying subscriptions to Disney Plus because this show is trash.
What he said.
Hulk smash!
Moving on. And with that being our final client of the day, it's time for us to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is rejection-sensitive dysphoria.
Do explain.
So rejection-sensitive dysphoria is an extreme emotional sensitivity and it's pain triggered by perception that a person has been rejected or criticized by important people in their life, or potentially when they fall short of meeting their own standards. It involves low self-esteem, avoidance, fear of failure, high expectations, approval-seeking behavior, all the stuff that we see all the time from Hollywood. Emotional outbursts after being rejected. These people cannot take being rejected these days. Anything they make needs to be perfect, and you need to love it, or it's just that you're a misogynist, bigot, whatever it is. So they are so sensitive to that criticism that they'll even sometimes come out beforehand and say things because they want you to love what they want you to like, and everything else, it must just be that you're a terrible person and they can't be wrong. Guess what? It isn't the case. You're all sensitive. You can't take rejection. You can't take criticism. And that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I completely agree.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we are going to send you to the Phoenix Press. A friend of ours over on Twitter, he is a comic maker, and he is currently working on his comic book called Screecher about a superhero, which actually looks kind of good.
And he's also created another comic, which is 2100 Samurai, and he's just a decent guy. He's always been a good supporter of us, so we wanted to show him some love and send some of you guys over there. He does make some great stuff. We may even include a link to his current project in the description, if he has one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, head on over there.
Grab your pencils and let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But that's all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. But remember, when you do subscribe, your first session is free. So smash those buttons like they're bad kitties. And do consider joining at the dusk, midnight, or dawn levels. We would appreciate it very much. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Do check those out.
Yeah, and again, we are pushing for 2K subscribers, so if you have not subscribed, please do so. If you know anybody who would like the channel, we do accept referrals. But that's all we have, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.